So next up, we actually do have something about Stoessi's heroes. So what have they got coming out, Ben?
So this is 3 new characters, and I would hesitate to say that all of these are real-life characters that existed within World War II and fought in various battles and stuff. And the first of these is actually a Canadian, and this is Private Leo Major, or Leo Major, I'd imagine his name would be said. And he was known as the one-man army. So this guy is really awesome. So during the sort of invasion, during D-Day, he lost one of his eyes to shrapnel, I believe it was. And instead of going back to a hospital or whatever, he carried on fighting and got up off the beach and continued going on. He's got a really cool eye patch as well. You see some of his pictures that were taken. However, the cool thing is that later on, he was asked to scout the town called Zvol, I believe it's called. But instead of scouting it, he ran through the city, the town, firing his rifle, throwing grenades, and shouting at the top of his voice, so much so that the German army thought that the entire Canadian battalion was attacking. He then got to the point where he was able to then burn down a Gestapo, destroy a Gestapo HQ, and burn down an SS HQ at the same time before getting out the city. So yeah, he was commended, as you might imagine, for being quite the insane war hero.
Yes.
Doing some rather frankly crazy stuff. But
what a legend! That is brilliant.
This is why I love historical wargaming, because you get some of the craziest stories.
Well, there's nothing stranger than non-fiction.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's
you can write this stuff.
We have a platoon commander. Oh my goodness me!
It's a Soviet name. Though.
So this is Yevdokia Zavali.
Yevdokia Zavali. Yeah, no.
The Frau Black Death, Ben.
Yeah, so Frau Black Death was the name that was given to her by the German forces, because she was very young at the time. She was about 16 years old, and her village, her town, was bombed to the ground by the Germans. So she went to the local cavalry commander and convinced him to send her to the front lines, pretending she was 18 rather than 16 years old. And of course, the Soviets had a lot of women fighting in their forces during this period. Yeah. She was then placed in command of her own regiment. Her own regiment of Marine, it was a Marine platoon. That's what it was, sorry. And she was a fierce fighter. She was known for charging into the middle of action. She was like a great morale boost to her men and everything like that. She fought in the defense of the Caucasus, the battle for Crimea, and then also the Soviet expansion back through Eastern Europe and pushing back the Germans as well, sort of later on during the war as well. She terrified the Germans so much, as I say, that she was known as Frau Black Death to them. So if you're creating yourself a little bit of a Soviet force and you want a new character to throw into the mix there, then you've got her to sort of look at potentially.
And then finally we have Hauptmann Gunther Wiesens.
Yeah, so it's not just
what a stunning model.
Yeah, it's not just the heroes on the sort of Allied side, but it's also some of the heroes that were considered on the German side as well. Yeah. And this was Gunther was a fantastic ace. Now, normally you wouldn't imagine that many infantry could take out tanks. He was recorded as one of the only infantrymen to take out more tanks than anybody else by himself. Wow. Right? On foot, I should say. He was responsible for 21 single-handed tank kills using grenades, mines, Panzerfaust, and lots of other things. Yeah. He was actually given the Tank Destruction Badge in gold and silver multiple times, which is never, ever meant to be given to anything other than a tank.
All right.
He was given this.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a really interesting new German character to throw into the mix, if you want to sort of do something on a scenario level with him, then you've got a really cool character there to play with as well. I will point out that one of the things that Stoessi's heroes do that is really, really good is that if you follow through some of these links onto their web store, the web store and their website, they actually go into a lot more detail in their blogs about the different characters and who they were. They really, really look into all the details about their life as well, so you can go and see a little bit more detail about each of these characters and see how good the likenesses are between the miniatures and the people in real life too.
Fantastic, and 3 beautiful sculpts.
They're excellent models,
wonderful sculpts.